HSL versus XL2. Ruins is going to be the first map. Surprise, surprise, it will probably be Orisa Sigma with the Doomfist and the Reaper. There's a lot of avenues for attack here for the Doomfist too. The high ground here is quite prevalent, of course, and if you do rotate up the high ground near the point fairly early, it can be fairly big for you. Although more often than not, you want to take control of that mega health pack. It can be so valuable, especially if you want to kind of speed the rest of your team back there if you are getting demolished in the front line, of course.
I imagine both of our teams are going to be very happy here to just bring out the meta comp. You still got like testable waters, because of course these teams will not have really played against each other before. They're from very different scrim regions, and it can be very difficult to get those scrims effectively against NA teams if you are in EU. So you just want to see how sort of your regular play stacks up. HSL Esports are actually going to be at a disadvantage here. They're not using the teleport rollout that we see KSP bringing out here, so there is going to be an advantage in positioning here for Gig as he moves forward, can put down that first shield, and that means that cooldown starts a little bit sooner.
Yeah, you can see now they're taking control of the pillar, and then like a health pack as well. Henningson's going to be able to rotate onto point fairly quickly though down that ramp, but XL2 are going to make the first move. Point unlocks in 5 seconds. Gig does get pulled in, but now moving forward with a pull of his own. Fisher does leap in with the rocket punch, but has to get back to his team to safety with that seismic slam. Point unlocks. HSL get the first couple of minute percent, but Speedly going to have to watch his back a little bit more. Fisher playing a little bit more defensive here, I think.
Yeah, they are going to be able to move in now with that rocket punch. Jaws, this control of the mega health pack is so important. It means for Moira doesn't have to use the healing orbs.
Oh, Coalescence is going to come out from Ding. All those red bars flashing on his screen. He's going to have to heal Henningsen rather quickly. Point has still not been taken, and Chow goes down first. Speedy finds the first kill, and with Henningsen going down as well, both tanks from HSL. Health bars being depleted does mean they lose this first fight. And that will unfortunately mean, you've got to think about the team fight win percentage, or sorry, like map win percentage on control when it comes to these maps. If you win the first fight, you're more than likely just going to win it out, just going on the ult advantage.
Yeah, the momentum you have as well, Jaws. Speedily has the Meteor Strike ready to go. HSL don't really have a huge amount to try and mitigate this coming forward. They're going to be relying on the double shields that their comp provides, but Speedily can be the first one here. You can combine it with the Gravitic Flux if he so desires, but that may be a bit much of an investment.
But using that Flux in the back line. Beat's going to come through to save them for the time being. Ascot and Chow going extremely low already. Speedy tries to go for the punch in, but gets punched back, and Henningsen takes the kill. Gig is going to fall here, and as a Death Blossom does land on the point, in fact, both of them right on top of each other, but Zaprace gets eaten all up by the Sigma. HSL still man up as Gig comes back to the point. Speedly does end up going down now, so they're just whittling away at the health bars of XL2, but they're still managing to secure a lot of additional percent and trying to make HSL's ult bank just disappear. You're trying to force out as many ults as possible in that situation. 52% as HSL find the flip.
And Jaws, that was all about OG using his sound barrier there. He wasn't answering anything. He was just trying to counter the enemy sound barrier, which was already being taken down by the Meteor Strike and by the Gravitic Flux. It meant that when HSL brought out their ults, there was no answer. There may not be an answer for this either.
Flux coming in, no beat available, but Ascot is already going to go down. Speedy found him in the back line, didn't get caught up, to an alternative route around the backside. Fisher is going to fall, but OG does end up trading as Speedly moves forward with the Seismic Slam. Trying to get as much damage he can onto the Orisa, waits for that Bongo to come out, ult straight on top of it, that's long gone, and Henningsen gets smacked into a wall. But Puck's using the Flux here, just solo onto Chow in the front line, but it might be enough.
And it might. We're just going to try and continue to brawl out here, but remember, HSL remain in control. They're ticking up as they get rid of Speedily.
Yeah, Speedily's going to go down. KSP's going to follow as well, but now XL2 have not really got any DPS to rely on. Speedily's going to be able to get back rather quickly, yes, but Chow still fighting on the point, just making them pay for it in time bank. 55% now building up as HSL resume control.
XL2 just couldn't get rid of the Bastion that was on the point, Jaws. There was so much defense there, and now Ascot can reinforce him. The sound barrier is ready to go, but he needs to hold it. KSP almost has this Death Blossom. It's going to be a major tool to try and turn around this next fight. Zephyr is going to be able to meet him there as well, but what mitigation can come through to stop this being channeled?
XL2 can't push right now. Buzz is really low. You're going to have to expend some cooldowns to make that work. They do end up using the ult. Zaprace still manages to find Speedly somehow. Not entirely sure where he was. He just fell over. And now Chow using the Flux right in the front line. It's disastrous for XL2 right now. Fisher goes in with the ult. Doesn't manage to find anybody, but makes the space for Zaprace to do the work. XL2 now have 10% to claim this map back. They're trying to stall out. OG gets taken out, and that should be it. HSL are going to claim this map rather easily.
Oh, it's going to be an engagement from Redoofus. He isn't going to last long. Speedily, he's going to be dying quite speedily.
Yeah, OT going to tick down. Speedily dies. Ball coming back in for some extra stall, but it ain't going to happen. He gets taken out as well. And now the slow whittling of the extra people coming in. XL2, yeah, it's all done, unfortunately. These fights just take so long to finish, though, and this is really what happened earlier on in this engagement. I mean, Bud's trying his hardest to kill Zapre. He does manage to do it, but Supercharger there does help them finish off the map. Ruins gets taken by HSL. Rather scrappy in the middle of it all. I saw Buds, of course, falling to like sub 100 HP, moving forward, and the rest of his team were like, okay, we've got to go. And then it was like, oh, Moira, you got to use your healing orb, then you've got to expend most of your left click to try and heal Buds up so quickly in order to re-engage onto this fight. And when you're in that situation, like we mentioned before, cooldowns are so important. As soon as that orb's gone, it's done.
Scrappy's definitely the word for it, Jaws. Right now, XL2, they need to brush up on their target focus. They got 2 picks, Jaws. They got rid of so many members of HSL and they were trying to aggress onto the point. They couldn't pick one person to go on. They were all targeting different people, and that meant there wasn't enough damage to get rid of one of these very stalwart targets. This time Zapre is going to help them roll out on the Symmetra. I wonder if we're going to see any differences in composition here. It's unlikely. This is going to be, once again, all about rotations. You can try and get those Holts into the well, but maybe it isn't as much of a value proposition when it's so valuable to use the Holt to try and facilitate a Doomfist.
XL fell fairly low there. Gotta be careful. Now Speedly just looking for the rotation of cooldowns, but KSP finds the first kill. Perhaps he was on the back line there. I'm not entirely sure where he was, although I can see the dead body, so he was rather close to the enemy Reaper. Speedly goes in once again. Another couple of kills. That should be it. XL2 can win the first fight once more and claim the point.
A big fan there of Bud's actually starting to channel the accretion as Henningsen uses his Holt to draw people in. That means that if someone's coming in to try and punch someone out of that Holt, they're going to get stunned by the accretion. The mutual stun will leave that Doomfist vulnerable as he moves into the enemy team, because obviously they're all holding together. You got a Doomfist stunned at your feet. It's going to be easy to pick up that damage. That means there's not enough healing to keep Zapre up in the back as well. HSL, no on the back foot. We talk about how much this first fight matters, Jaws. Once again, we're going to be trading coalescences here, but who will be able to get the most value out of them? HSL right now are pretty split up, so they won't all be taking damage.
Henningsen taking a little bit too much damage there. He's getting bullied by Speedy right now. Both Coles are coming out. Speedy has got that ult as well, so he can go extremely deep here. Coalescence does end up taking out Gig, but you can see Speedy using this a little bit more defensive, getting a bit of damage on Henningsen. Fisher falling as well, just means there's no one-shot potential for him, but Zapre still marching forward, finds a couple of kills of his own. Gets sent straight back to Earth, but had the overshield to make it work, and is still managing to get the damage out, but they are kind of bleeding time away at this point. Another 52% reclaim here, it seems, for HSL. Not quite, as we do see Buzz jumping back on point, and Gig, what? Chow and Ting are going to go down the well as he finds a perfect Holt, but it doesn't matter in the end. It's HSL come up with the point cap.
But Jaws, it does matter, but because of that, Zapre had to use his Death Blossom. He just traded a Holt for a Death Blossom. In the long-term economy, this is a great play for XL2. Now they've got the distinct advantage. KSP has got his ready to go. Zapre's at 4%. What are you going to do to answer this? You've got to have Fisher get an interrupt on the channel here. If he can be effectively guarded so there's no stun to interrupt this, he can do a lot of damage.
That orb's already been used as well, and Speedy knows it. Coalescence is going to come through. That Meteor Strike as well. In fact, almost all ults were used there by HSL. They've still got one to back up with, but Chow gets instantly taken out. KSP with the Blossom in the front line. It's all done. Thing trying to retreat or get a little bit of extra ult charge and time on the point. Zapre's still alive. Does manage to get a bit of extra damage onto Speedy and finish him off, but that should be all said and done. It's only Ding now to finish off as he does shield dance for his life. And here you go, you can see Gig. Perfect Holt onto the Sigma and the Moira. Gets himself some extra ult charge as well with that.
This fight's still going though, Jaws. They are going to try and get every last percentage point, but Speedly isn't going to let him. You've got to back off now. And we talked about how you needed to have an interrupt on that Death Blossom of KSP from Fisher, which means KSP, he saw red. He saw his opportunity when Fisher went in with the Meteor Strike. That meant there were going to be so many bodies between Fisher's backline strike and KSP spinning around in the backline of HSL. Shao now has to make something work with the Gravitic Flux, but OG, he can answer it with a Sound Barrier. If you can dive in deep, force out the Sound Barrier early, that could be your win condition. Otherwise, this fight does not look too winnable for HSL.
How are they going to take it? It seems like fairly slowly going to rotate around to the point. You've got to be careful though. Gig can pull you in again. Chow's going to have nightmares about that for a little while. That punch from the back almost netted Gig in the well. Buzz doesn't really find anything with his ultimate either, and now it's up to Chow to try and find something a little bit extra. Beat is going to come through for XL2, so they survive for now. Meteor Strike from Speedly, looking for the Holt potentially. He's going to land on the high ground, so a little bit of damage done. He gets out alive for the time being.
XL2 are They're very keen to play this one slow right now. Fisher's down, but KSP's traded for him, and Zapra can try and finish this
This
out.
is so good though, because OT's now ticking down. XL2 as Speedly comes up with a kill. OT ticking through. He gets punched into the wall. Speedly just determined to take this map back. Chow's going to go down as well. That's a triple kill for the Doom. XL2 are going to continue to hold this point. Make that a quad kill as Askov goes down as well. And they tie up Achilios 1-1.
There's a pedestrian speed limit on well. I'm pretty sure XL2 haven't heard of it yet. Go into the 1-1, and Speedly is really waking up right now, Jaws. Managing to find his way in multiple times. And I love how he's being facilitated by the long range of the sand barrier that OG put down. OG was basically the only one caught in the gravitic flux, but he had to save himself. So he just told the rest of his team, get aggressive, because we have that line of sight from the sand barrier where you can all be in the opponent's backline and still receive this overshield. So Speedly gets incredibly aggressive. He doesn't get punished because you can't get through the 950 health as quickly as you would like. He's going to wolf finish here. Going over to Lighthouse to finish off our first map of the second series of the Gauntlet in Seoul. Once again, same compositions, no changes thus far. Will HSL be able to check Speedly?
Well, Fisher's just got to get a read on him, it feels like. He's hiding up right now. Speedly doing the same thing. Speedly is going to go in with a punch. Counter punch though. Almost instantly Fisher was taken down though. OG managed to find the kill in the end. Now Speedly just needs to survive. They have a man advantage as they can rotate towards the point, and the entirety of HSL are so split up as well. Seems like a little bit of a miscommunication there. Chow was wandering towards the point. He did have the Lucio at his back, and Speedly was like, well, we can just now ingress. Like, they don't have Doomfist. I can't get punched down again. The mutual stun can't come through. What happened? Well, they just run at them, split them up, and they take the point.
I got to give credit to Gig there, Jaws. When the mutual stun happened, Gig actually invested both his cooldowns. He put the shield down on top of the stun Speedly and started body blocking for him with the Fortify as well, making sure they could split that damage and make sure no single person was going to go down. Everyone could get healed up by Mora. HSL once again coming in against the first cap. It doesn't look great.
Speedy almost went in on that one. Decided not to in the end. Coalescence is going to come through. Ding's going to have his online in a couple of seconds, but Haku already takes out Zapre. This is a one fight for XL2 rather swiftly. Ding was a couple of percentage points away from actually securing that coal, but didn't manage to get it. As XL2, they do continue to hold this point.
And this is where the greater generation of the Coalescence can really be so important, Jaws, by being able to bring out that ultimate first, get the piercing damage through multiple shields, and be able to secure a pick. Ding, he made sure that there was no chance he would be able to use that Coalescence or it would be wasted on a lost fight. Now at least they do have a Coalescence advantage coming through, but XL2, they're going to be ready to answer it. They've got the sand barrier if it's needed.
Speedy pops the ult, there's the hold, there's the ground pound. Okay, that didn't really do much damage. I think a shield was potentially in the way. Beat coming through from XL2 as well as KSP goes into the Death Blossom, finds a bit of damage but no kills. Gig ends up finding one at least onto Zapre as Fisher comes down with his own ult. It feels like when you lose Henningsen there, maybe you don't want to invest an ultimate that can basically win a fight for you in the Meteor Strike. Used it a little bit late, didn't find anything, and XL2 looking to take this almost 100-0.
Yeah, they're 80% Jaws, and XL2, they're so loaded for Bear and for next fight. Gig has got the supercharge ready to go. Everyone does 50% more damage. They're going to get 50% more ult charge, and that means Haku's going to be tearing through people with this Coalescence. It needs to be interrupted. Fisher needs to hit a strike here to interrupt the call. It was Zapre, though.
He just kills him! Just almost instantly out of the air, he was knocked up, and Zapre's got the ult as well, straight on the back line. OT goes down, Buds is going to follow. OT may have been there, but HSL refusing to go down without a fight. 99% to 0 is going to flip over, but now XL2, they can build up ult tower, they can build up an ult bank, force HSL to use something, and then they can go for the W.
XL2 here, they're going to be looking to Buds, that very seasoned leader. He needs to tell them, have restraint. If you don't get a first pick, build up 6 ultimates. You only need one fight to win this map and put yourself 1-0 up in this series against HSL. They need to defend every fight. They have to invest. Every time you don't make a mistake, every time you make a smooth rotation, they've got to invest, and there it is.
Both superchargers have been put down. Meteor Strike from Speedly. Another Hulk comes in. He instantly takes out that supercharger. No more extra damage available for HSL, but Gig ends up going down as Chow is sent to the skies with his ults, and Fisher jumping on the back line. Yeah, KSB didn't see that one coming, but they still invest a lot here, like you were saying, Harry. They've got a beat to fall back on, but that's really only what XL2 have as well. A little bit further, though, is Buds ahead of Chow in terms of his ult, 85% to only 10.
XL2 are playing with time there, Jules. The second Henningsen puts down that supercharger, I think he could have just called a disengage. You don't need to invest an ult from your Doomfist there, especially when HSL we're going to invest that much more as well. Ascot needs to be so careful here. He cannot get caught as he tries to channel this sand barrier. It needs to be available to counter OGs.
Fisher's already dead though. Speedy manages to take him out. Zapre is on the back line. This is the go button. Harry Chow gets taken out instantly as Buds uses the ult. 99% to 70 now. HSL need to get back onto this point, but Speedly and Haku taking the game into their own hands. XL2 are going to reclaim the point. HSL are going to have time to touch here, Harry, but is it going to be enough?
Speedly's just being such a great performer right now. KSP can just spin around in the middle. Second someone comes on, they're going to take so much damage from the Death Blossom.
Chow finds one though. His buttons have going down. He knocks him off the map. And Fisher manages to find the punch as well. HSL not out of this just yet. Fisher finds another kill. HSL are going to come back onto this point as XL2 get cleaned up.
And it's the same story from EU Contenders, Jaws. It's all about Fisher and Zapre being these huge individual playmakers again and again. XL2 now, it looked so good for them to claim this map, but it can be taken away from them. HSL can steal this if they can somehow interrupt KSP and his Death Blossom. We've talked about interrupting it before. Fisher, you got to hit the punch if you want to interrupt this. There's got to be the stun to make it useless.
Okay, but he managed to bait out the punch there from Fisher. Fisher gets booped up into the air, instantly killed. KSP with 2 kills with the help of the Halt. Okay, XL2 can breathe a sigh of relief. They managed to claim the point back. OT ticking down as they claim the first map of the series.
It's a clean fight right there. Great play to put down the supercharger. That's essentially the same damage as you'd get from a nano boosted Death Blossom, Jaws. It just tears through everybody. And unfortunately, everyone was halted in. Didn't really have much they could do. Fisher had already invested. He saw someone a little bit out of sight. Maybe it was a bit of a bait from XL2. Just like, okay, we need to get Fisher's attention. We can't allow him to interrupt KSP. So just put his attention elsewhere and we can start channeling that Death Blossom, get the damage done. They knew he didn't have the ability to use a Meteor Strike either, which is one of the greatest ways to get rid of the supercharger, given that it's a static thing that you often place behind your shield.
Well, I gotta say, one of the main problems there as well was Fisher managed to get booped. He got booped up into the air. KSP hit the ult. One of the best things for Cats in the Reaper ult, funnily enough, is going to be that Doomfist. Does look like we are going to go to a quick break, guys. Do not go anywhere. Map number 2 coming up soon. guys, welcome back. Map number 2 on your screens very soon. XL2 taking Achilios 2-1. Very scrappy towards the end there. I gotta say, I was so close. Chow coming back with the wrecking ball, booping people off. They almost managed to get it, but XL2 came back with a vengeance. They had ults, they got the kills. And it was as easy as that.
Yeah, and a lot of it came down to individual play, Jaws. Speedily, especially, when I took a look at the stats in the break, we're actually seeing 2k more damage per second from Speedily compared to Fisher. Speedily's doing 11k damage per 10 minutes, whereas Fisher's doing about 9k damage per 10 minutes. And that's translating to a lot more shields, a lot more survivability, a lot more picks, and it means that also, when you're doing that much damage, Jaws, you can get so much value out of a Coalescence. If you're looking at low members who are behind 2 shields, if you've got an ult that can pierce those shields and you're generating about 1 every minute, you're being able to get a lot of frags that otherwise would be considered safe for another Moira to heal up.
So Doomfist story all over again, it feels like. All about from Series 1 now into Series 2. Fisher, rather veteran player on HSL, like we said before. He's been to NA, he's come back to EU, proved his dominance over Giganti. And now he's on the international stage once again. And now how do HSL come back into this one? We spoke about the veterancy in the entire squad and said, you know, they've got to keep their heads in this. This is what this veterancy really does allude to. Just being able to be calm, be motivated in these situations and make sure you can stick to your game plan.
When we look at Overwatch, Jaws, Control is often a completely different beast to a lot of other modes. And it's all about that first fight.
HSL versus XL2 now jumping on to Hollywood. You can see HSL defend first with XL2 on the attack. And yeah, I mean, like you were mentioning before, let's go back to that Doomfist point. He's doing more damage. So what does that mean? Well, more low health members on the other team. And what does that mean? Well, Moira's going to do a whole bunch more with that Coalescence or even the damage orbs in the back line. They do a surprising amount of damage, and tick damage at that. Be rather frustrating getting picked off by one that's been bouncing around the map for, you know, 10, 15 minutes.
Just looks like it follows you, really.
No, it does. It's kind of frustrating.
Like, it's geometrically predictable, but you just want to run away from it.
Yeah. Well, it kind of slows down as well when it kind of latches onto you, which is one of the most frustrating things in the world about it.
Yeah, you're like trying to outspeed it. Right now, HSL setting up on the defense is going to be about having some quick engagements. HSL, Jaws, during previous metas, they've been known to have rather passive play. That's really how these guys love to play. They are veterans, and that often comes with, we make less mistakes. So what we do is we want to wait for other people to make mistakes, people who may be a little bit more haphazard, trying to get these hero plays, trying to move in towards different areas, and they wait for those mistakes to happen. But when you wait versus a Doomfist Reaper comp, Jaws, you give away so much space, and every second is another potential pick coming through from a Doomfist, another potential huge Hellfire Shotgun Blast coming through from a Reaper that's going to leave your Orisa low and going to force a relocation.
Yeah, the Doomfist is going to be rotating the cooldowns as fast as possible, as often as possible. Nice little hold, nice little punch. Even the Rock actually sending Speedily to the high ground there. I'm sure he would have liked that, but does end up falling down to the low ground. Fisher and the rest of HSL kind of backing off, in fact playing rather passively like you were saying. Henningsen does end up getting traded there as KSP ends up going down as well. Punished for his over-aggression, but with the tank falling, HSL have only got one shield to hide behind, and it's going to be Chow's. Speedy can just basically do whatever he wants now.
Yeah, he's going to be attempted to be checked, but he just found so much damage, Jaws.
Yeah, Coalescence is going to come through as well. Nice little halt, nice little bit of extra damage from OG, taking out Zapre. And the Orisa, one of the best strengths about the Orisa is this halt to pull a Doomfist in, to pull any member into combo with, you know, Rocket Punch, almost anything in this composition. And as soon as the Orisa's down, you lose one of the keys to the comp, plus that big, meaty front line like the Doomfist, the Moira, and everybody else likes to hide behind.
And the halt being so important is definitely something that XL2 can rely on, with Gig becoming such a leader. It's sort of been taken under Buds' wing. This newer player played on Chicken Contenders and Trials, but wasn't really a huge name in North American esports for a long time, but now he's come out here. He's a huge leader for XL2. He's often calling these halts, and that's so important to have those clear comms where you are being able to get the most out of the most important ability, some would say, in this entire meta. It's going to be HSL2. HSL2? It's going to be HSL setting up on this corner right now. This is a very defensible area. They can use the physical cover here. Everyone's halted into the Gravitic Flux.
Yeah, beautiful little flux, but it's going to get met with a beat. Now Askov's got his beat rolling up and ramping up in a second as well. He might be able to freely use this, in fact, but Chow is going to fall once again. HSL just kind of getting rolled over at this point. Askov didn't want to invest anything. Now it potentially just has to wait for another one of Bud's ultimates to build up. And look at the space they're going to be able to claim here. Not only that, especially the ult charge into these small corridors and choke points that HSL are going to come out of, it's going to lead to so much ult charge on Buds and even on Moira and OG as well. When people are going to speed into him, he can heal the rest of his team by amping up the heals.
Ult charge doesn't matter that much, and the ults are ready to go. KSP's hiding out right now, but Fisher could find him. He's scouting around that side. If he manages to catch KSP and force out a Wraith Bomb, could be absolutely deadly. Right now, Speedly's trying to check the other Reaper as well. It's a delicate dance between these two DPS as KSP enters the fray from his hiding spot.
Oh, he's been able to get massive Death Blossoms up so far, and he's going to continue that trend with Chow going down. However, they do trade as Buds ends up falling as well. Even fight, some would say, but Speedly says absolutely not. A punch into the wall ends Henningson's life, and they should be able to just move this one on now. All they need to do is check the Reaper and check the Doom, and it should be as easy as that. You can shield dance for days as they kept their Orisa alive. Zapre and Fisher are going to fall, and that should be it. XL2 setting almost record pace here on these comps, looking into Hollywood third now.
And this is the thing about having a real star player Doomfist Jaws like Padapan, like Sparkle, or in this case like Speedly. You put so much of your mental bandwidth towards trying to take care of those very dangerous Doomfists that you don't have as much mental bandwidth to try and peel for your main tank. Henningson's getting ran over here, hasn't been able to put down that supercharger yet. It's going to be what is needed for HSL here. They need to put down the supercharger, potentially combine it with Ding's Coalescence to create a huge amount of piercing damage. Once again, they need to burn down the tanks of XL2. So once again, they're not caught short. They're losing their anchor tanks too soon into these fights to ever be able to deny enough damage from the incoming aggressions of KSP.
Well, HSL are going to come down, put that supercharger down as well. Bud's taking a whole heap of damage. Did get knocked up into the air. Fisher wasn't aiming for him though. Did manage to take out OG. That should be it for the time being. But not the worst fight in the world, to be fair. If you're XL2, you do force out the supercharger and what was rather a quick fight.
Yeah, because of that disengagement, Jules, they've denied the ult charge that would have been gained from Henningson's use of the supercharger.
There's the Flux. They do manage to catch the Doomfist. He gets out alive for the time being. Beat's going to come through from XL2 now. They know Chow doesn't have that ult as they manage to survive it and now can surge forward with that overshield. Gig and Henningson, they're going to end up biting the dust once again. I mean, Gig has been kind of taking it to Henningson at this point. It feels like he's just running into him, just wants to show who's the alpha Orisa player at this point. HSL end up going down, and this will mean XL2 are going to be able to settle rather nicely around this caravan.
Now they are. KSP's hiding in the corner here, Jaws. If he doesn't get checked, this could be absolutely deadly because he will be able to get a good line of sight onto both Ascoft and Ding. Maybe we'll see Speedly try and force out a fade from Ding so that he cannot get away from the incoming aggressions.
Perfect first kill for Fisher, though, taking out the main heal. They just got to win the fight quickly, but KSP's taking them out left, right, and center. Zapre and Henningson are going to go down. They haven't got any heals left, really. They've only got the Lucio, but with the supercharger at their backs, they're going to be able to clean this fight up so quickly. XL2 with a gargantuan time bank. 2 minutes and 48 seconds on Hollywood. And with on these comps as well, that's huge. Yeah, these comps take so long to die, Harry, and the fights take so long to actually be over that time bank is almost immeasurable. You're looking at OT more often than not, even when we were out of this meta.
Yeah, like even when you are just sweeping through these comps with the Orisa and the Sigma, like because they take so long to die, that just drains your time bank, even if the cart is continually moving. Now HSL has got to weigh in their heads. We've got to rely on this veterancy. You see Zapre on your screens there. This guy was very much a venerated player in the early days of Overwatch. He played on the original Misfits roster, which was, I believe, picked up from a roster called Graviton Surge, which was named from Zapre got caught. There's a lot of history in this match, Jaws. A lot of history in this arena. It's like everything that was Overwatch Esports is culminating towards this particular event. HSL, they want to be the ones who show what they can do in this arena, but they've got to survive in this series. This isn't their potentially last map, but they're on the back foot right now. XL2's unbridled aggression, the hedonistic approach of a Doomfist that's got a lot to prove, like Speedly, he's definitely living up to his name. He's catching him off guard. The passive team of HSL may need to mix up their playstyle a little bit here. And we often, when we talk to players, Jaws, in player interviews, they talk about playing their own game. But here, HSL's own game isn't, well, particularly suited to this meta.
Yeah, I would like to see some sort of graph or diagram to show how HSL and XL2, especially on that first and second attempt at taking first point, I mean, how they were kind of pushing into them just over and over again. HSL permanently had their fingers, it felt like, on the S key, where XL2 were just on the W. I mean, at the end of the day, whoever strikes first in these comps will end up winning out more often than not, because the Doomfist can rotate his cooldowns just so quickly. Does like we are seeing a little bit of a different comp though, coming out from HSL. Fisher is on the Mei this time instead, trying to deny some of those sight lines with the Mei wall.
Yeah, to get value here, you need to get some isolations with a Mei wall. You're going to be looking at trying to trap Gig away from Bud so that he cannot channel through that secondary shield to defend him.
Well, there's the isolation. Henningsen once again going toe-to-toe with Gig up in the front line. But these Doomfists once more just have to look for these pickoffs. Exactly what Speedly's doing. Everybody gets halted in place once again as Henningsen ends up going down. And in these comps, really, you are looking at one person dying and then the rest of the comp's going to fall to pieces. And that's especially true with HSL's comp as well. They haven't really got much damage to follow up. Doomfist not present doesn't mean you can't means you can't get those random one shots with a rocket punch and someone randomly connecting with the wall to kind of trade even 1-for-1 and then move on from there. Fisher, like you mentioned, has to get those isolation kills.
And not only that, Jules, it denies you the ability to do a lot of damage on the halts because you can't get those 5-man uppercuts or the 5-man seismic slams. Instead, you're trying to potentially get a multi-freeze, but you've got 2 shields in the way of doing that. Ding has an early coalescence here. They can strike first, but Bud's just so ready. Look, he's 50% ahead of Chow. He's doing so much damage. The backbone of XL2 is ready to try and grasp this next fight.
I was now checking the high ground. Didn't see someone teleport up there. There's the ult. 4 people caught up. Beat not available. 20% away, which means they crash to the ground and go all the way back to spawn. XL2 burning so much of HSL's time bank away. This comp, I feel, from HSL has to change, but the problem is now you're almost trapped in a scenario where you have to use Blizzard. You're 20% away from it, and you've invested so much in keeping this Mei pick. Yes,
you want to give up that Blizzard, Jaws, and it can still be mitigated as well. The kinetic grasp of Buds does sort of act like a defense matrix, can absorb that ultimate. Fisher needs to make sure that he's not predictable here. If he's telegraphed, he could throw away this ultimate and throw away HSL's best chance to take this particular map. OG, even if it does land, can try and answer this.
Already, Speedy goes in, finds the kill on Henningsen. I don't even know, man.
There wasn't even an assist.
It's just speedily things.
Just speedily things. He's dispatching Orisa speedily, evidently.
1 minute and 30 now remains for HSL to try and crack this defense of XL2. This is disastrous. HSL, they have ults though, and Blizzard is finally available. It's up and online. But if the Grasp comes out and eat it, they've basically wasted 3 minutes trying to build up this one ult.
Yeah, and Ascot here may be forced to use his sound barrier to try and answer an incoming aggressive use of the Death Blossom from KSP. Potentially he's going to need to save us because Buds almost has yet another Gravitic Flux.
Here it is. Okay, the grass has come out already, so they're basically free to do whatever they so choose, but Speedly already finds a kill. They do end up trading as KSP goes down as well, but this Coalescence just helping Speedly just do whatever he wants. Fisher finally takes out just KSP, but is that actually going to be enough at the end of it all? Those walls are kind of hindering Fisher at this point, and OT is coming so soon. Fisher throws out the Blizzard eventually. Gig gets caught off guard. He ends up falling, and XL2's defense finally falls.
There's still potential for a re-engage here though, Jaws. Still we have Speedly and OG alive. Buds for now is tanking the damage. This could facilitate a re-engage.
It could be.
Oh, however, that's a nasty wall.
Not quite though. Yeah, luckily did trap him in the end. OG does burn some extra couple of seconds off. They do manage to cap the point, but look at that time bank. 2 minutes and 45 seconds now. HSL pulling out the Bastion this time instead.
Going to try and roll on forward with this additional damage. Speedly won't be able to do a huge amount of this, but that's when you're looking at Vanilla Doomfist, Jaws. He's got ready to go a Meteor Strike. There needs to be some significant defense here for Zapray. He won't be killed by the Meteor Strike itself if he's in the turret form, but Ascoft, he's ready to try and deal with that. He has with Baptiste ready to go. Immortality Field needs to be saved. Speedily is going to force it out right now, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting that at all. There's Zapray, health bar falling rather low. Does get saved, like you said. However, Ascoft's, he does end up going down rather quickly. Lamp quickly dealt with. But that did give enough time for Chow and the rest of the gang to move forward. Dealing with Speedly and the rest of XL2 trying to help Speedly with this engagement, focused all their resources onto him and then had nothing left really for the Bastion, who was able to reset up.
Speedly is swapping over now, no longer on the Doomfist. He's lost his main tool to dislodge his Bastion, so instead he wants to use the wall jaws. He wants to try and push Zapray up over the projected barrier. It's down to Chow now. He needs to be able to react to these walls. He needs to be able to put a shield up over Zapray when he gets walled up in that area, and that's why you see Henningsen standing so close. He wants to be afflicted by the same wall that gets Zapray so that he can body block if it is necessary.
Or just do what they're doing now and just play completely spit. The Bastion's so far in the back line that they might not be able to get the wall off.
They put him on top of Present.
That's exactly what they are doing right now. Zapray does get walled off in the end,
There's
but is the damage present KSP's going to unleash a little bit of his own, though, as Ding does end up going down, and Zapre just left completely to do what he so chooses, but KSP still finding the kills. How is this happening? I thought this was for sure a one fight. Zapre does pop the tank form and managed to kill KSP in the end, ending his reign of terror as HSL clamber back onto this point with a Blizzard in hand.
May well have been anti-synergy Maywall right there,
Blizzard's
Jules.
going to come in, though, and already Buds is going to get taken out. He was frozen, so couldn't use the grass to eat it, and the window in the back line as well, aiding in the damage from Zapre. They're going to be able to move on forward onto this second point after they clean out the rest of XL2.
It's going to be super difficult going through this small area right here. Zapra's going to try and mow him down. They're still draining that time bank though, Jaws. Think about HSL's win condition here. They're up against a huge time bank. They need to cap this before overtime. If they don't cap it before overtime, then XL2 will get a free attack and they will be guaranteed at least a draw. Their tools to do it though, almost. Another tank form. Chow has ready to go for Gravitic Flux. How are they going to answer it on the side of XL2? They've got a lot of support ultimates to try and do so. But once OG's use that sound barrier, that's easy times for Zapre, especially if people move forward into aggressive positions. He can mow them down.
Playing split once again. Don't want to get isolated by the Mei. Coalescence is available from both teams as well. Again, supplementing a lot of that damage and healing. KSP is trying to find the flank. There's the Flux up in the air. Can they get anything? Zapre falls back down to the earth, and that'll be it, really. You can't really do much else. You needed KSP to jump on that. It feels like very, very wasted ultimate. Maybe they didn't have speed boost to follow up with. I'm not entirely sure. Zapre now finding yet another angle to try and deal with XL2. Tank form is going to come out also as Coalescences do racket through XL2 and HSL. Buzz does end up getting isolated by Fisher, but a beat is going to send Zapre packing. He tries to escape from KSP. KSP almost ends his life, but does enough damage to Chow to take him out. And now HSL are going to have to once again fall back to Zapre. 900 DPS now just destroying the front line. Fisher and Speedly do end up trading, but once again, we're in a situation, Harry, where the time banks are just depleting right in front of our eyes.
They need to do it in the next 38 seconds, Jaws, if they don't want to have that guaranteed draw, but it seems like it's going to be so difficult to do so. We talked about how long these comps take to die, and the car isn't moving.
And Zapre as well takes too long to actually set up also. A halt into the Blizzard. Zapre is up on the high ground, can't do the damage, but they don't need to. Henningsen finishes off the rest of XL2, but are they going to be able to do it in the next 15 seconds? I don't think they will. The stalls can be so great on Hollywood, it feels impossible.
Win condition right now for XL2. Just make sure this doesn't go before overtime. One person touching will do it, and then they will guarantee themselves that draw. Zapre needs to try and make sure no one can touch. They're coming in from every single angle.
Yeah, there's no way. OT's now going to be in session. There we go. XL2 guaranteeing themselves, like you said, a minimum of a draw. Or they could just win it. Or that, yeah, that's always a good option too. Zapre using the tank form once again. Doesn't get too much as he pops down into the recon, pops out of recon mode. KSP ends up going down, and now Zapre can just do whatever he so chooses. XL2 are in a situation where they need to touch, but they have to deal with Zapre, but they also need to touch. They are going to end up falling. Their Immortality Field doing a whole bunch of work, and HSL will be able to complete, but in OT.
And now they need to hold that first point, Jaws, for much longer than they did last time. It was a roll through, if we remember, from XL2. Going to have to see potentially a little bit more of an aggressive engage from HSL on the defense. So they're going to drink there, need to clear their minds. They need to get themselves in the area where the pressure is definitely on. This is no longer winnable, and that can take a toll on your mentality. If we can't win this, we've got to draw this, try and extend this series. We could go all the way potentially to 6 maps if that's the case. We'll have to see where we're going.
It's very drawable though.
Very drawable.
45, 48.
As we said multiple times in our comp games.
Very
drawable, everybody.
They have 5 minutes and 30. Very drawable. Don't need 33%. Very drawable. Don't worry. Don't worry. And like you said, that's the mentality game coming in. Or it's going to have to come in fairly strong from HSL. Not going to mess around at all. No Maze, no Bastions on the defense. Just classic Doomfist and Reaper. It's kind of nice having the Doomfist on this map too, especially on the defense. When people rotate in front of security, it sets up a really nice backboard for Fisher or just any Doomfist really to punch through the shields and then connect with somebody, and then obviously them connecting with the wall does the bonus damage.
Right now I'm fairly curious about Speedly hovering over on the Sombra. Obviously the stealth from a Translocate gives you some great scouting tools to make sure you're not up against a Bastion again, but it also means that if Fisher decides to get a little bit more aggressive here and go for these early attacks that you often characterize with the Doomfist that are successful in this meta, you can just give him a bit of a hack, get that first pick, remove a lot of the potential damage from HSL and move on forward. But no, it's just a scout from Speedly. We'll likely swap back over to the Doomfist. XL2 are very confident in this mirror matchup, Jaws. They are very happy to just take the Doomfist versus Doomfist, the Reaper versus Reaper, and for now they just want to figure out how they're going to make their entrance here. What rotation will give them the best advantage? Potentially they can go up through high ground, but instead they're just diverting straight onto point.
Yeah, look at that, almost instantly. Speedy was taking out Chow. Got to be a little bit more careful than that, and we spoke about this not just a moment ago, Harry, how HSL have just been holding S, it feels like, for more often than not. With that, Askoff and Henningsen are dead already. Gig manages to get traded himself, but it shouldn't matter in the end with Bud still alive. XL2 now putting themselves onto the point. They only need 33%, and with all of that, it's going to be over. HSL just go down, and again, it comes down to the fact that they're holding S, it feels like. Henningsen was backing up that entire time, just allowing XL2 to do whatever they want. They're now 2-0 up in the series, Harry.
And the important thing is, Jules, why is holding S so bad with this comp? And that's because you only get to retreat once with Orisa. That's when you have Fortify up. After you use your Fortify and you've put down your shield, if you disengage again, you've got nothing to defend you. And when they try to disengage again, Henningsen doesn't have any defensive abilities to try and keep himself alive. Everyone just W's forward into him. You get one disengage and that's it. And even in that disengage, when you don't have the Orisa shield in a static location but you're all behind, you are still vulnerable. Every time you shift positions, every time you cede that ground, you are in danger.
Well, we've got map 3 coming up very soon, guys. Do not go anywhere. XL2, 2 maps to 0. We'll see you guys in a sec.